As a tabletop VTuber, I can tell you this with what the best in which I would know. Tabletops don't belong to Twitch. Okay, so let me hit this from a different angle. I want to be safer before I start talking about this topic. Okay. I'm gonna put myself right here, and before I start talking about tabletops on Twitch. There you go. Okay, so tabletops don't belong on Twitch. Why? Why, D, are you saying something so brave yet so controversial, so brave yet so right? The tabletop streams don't interact with stream. Simple as that. They don't interact. The reason why you're on Twitch versus YouTube is, I believe, interactivity and chat engagement. So chat engagement comes not just from chatting, but from channel points, from bits, from all sorts of other things. It's the same thing as pre-recorded games. You're never going to have chat integration. No one's going to, like, read the thing. No one gives a crap about what's happening. Is what anyone is saying, does what anyone saying really matter? What makes it different from a YouTube, like a live YouTube content video, right? So, secondly, one of the biggest reasons why tabletops don't belong on Twitch, also I realize I don't have food on Minecraft, is VODs don't stay. Even the top end streamers, the VODs only stay like, I think what, 60 to 90 days? So one, VODs don't stay. So if you go past 60 days or like 8 streams, if you go past 8 episodes, no one's gonna fucking remember. No one's gonna be able to find your crap unless you save the entire thing as a highlight. And that's like a lot to process. So it needs to go on YouTube. So why isn't it just on YouTube? If one, you're never going to interact with your chat, right? Exactly. They have to get archived onto YouTube. But then why are they on Twitch in the first place? Really think about it. Why are they on Twitch? Because YouTube has live streaming, right? So if YouTube has live streaming, like, I don't really understand, and it automatically converts it to a video. I don't see why any tabletop belongs on Twitch. The only ones that really belong on Twitch would be ones that have the ability to be stars before they get onto the screen. So Critical Role works as much as it does because it already has star power. You can push a tabletop to success on Twitch if you have the power of stardom behind you. Otherwise, like regular and or nobody streamers, it doesn't matter where we are. Why is Twitch better a platform for streaming? Like really think about it. Like, it is really good for engagement. But if you're not going to interact with the people on the tabletop, and the only people that are going to interact on tabletop are going to be like small like streamers who have probably like less than budget quality. Like, feel free to throw your arguments at me, but like I really just don't see a place for tabletops on Twitch. Like, chat integration? Like what chat integration, right? You didn't expect that you're a tabletop streamer. I know. I think it's because of my... I'm not gonna call myself an expert, but the level in which I have to end up thinking about this kind of stuff ends up making me think about this stuff. I don't know. Like, if I could, I'd put all this crap on YouTube. I would 100% just put tabletops on YouTube. You can interact with chat, and it's possible the streamers just type to read the comments you interact, but makes them polls or joke around. Streaming in general, not specifically people. Yeah, no, streaming does. Streaming is good on Twitch, but I don't think. But streaming on other platforms has really improved. So one of the best ways to improve in streaming is multi-streaming. But the moment you become an affiliate, like right now here on Twitch, you can't multi-stream anymore. You can't multi-stream on YouTube. Like, no. From Twitch, you can't multi-stream anywhere else. YouTube and its Facebook partners are not limited to multi-streaming. Unless you have some kind of exclusivity, like, let's say, Toast or, like, Valkyrie. Like, there's no reason not to multi-stream. Twitch is really accessible, it's really easy to find, but you can't multi-stream on Twitch. Which is, like, rough. The VODs is true, put them on YouTube for coming to stream in most rates. Exactly. There's a lot of, like, community engagement on Twitter, like not on Twitter, on Twitch, but like Twitch is good if you have a community, so hence why there's a lot of VTubers on it. Hololive can exist on YouTube because it doesn't require the community's support in order to be successful. The biggest streams are the same with video content. Then at the point, all streams that try and engage something you consider something. Yeah, exactly. If you're not going to be able to engage on chat, then there's no point on being on Twitch. Like, Twitch is all about community and chat engagement, and if you can't do that, then I don't know. Argue in a woo. Yeah, that's fair. You could do that. Writing, homebrewing, prepping. So writing, brewing, and home prepping typically don't have big followings. I can't really tell you where you can find that. Honestly, those are fine because they're just regular streams, so you know, sure. But because typically you would engage more during writing and prep streams, so that's the thing. Also, look at Sly Flourish. I think Sly Flourish is a fucking, like, I think their work is genius. Okay, so Sly Flourish is, I think, one of the best GMs out there right now, aside from big names, like Matt Koval and like Matt Mercer. But look how many followers he has. He's like 2.3K, and I'm like, this guy is like amazing. He's like one of the best GMs I've like ever like read about. But also like look at his views. Like they're like, yeah, they were there for a bit. They're not very large, and that baffles me because I think he's so amazing. But there's just like not enough there. Koto 12, thank you very much for the follow. Thank you. Welcome to the hunt. So that's insane. Like this doesn't look right to me because he should be bigger than he is. And so a lot of this I feel has to come from his like blog and Twitter, and like he has other places and he does make the best possible stuff. Yet he's not very large on Twitch, because I also don't think like all of this prep and streaming stuff, it's fine for it to eventually disappear, but also he like he doesn't actually have like games and such on here as well, because the games will all disappear and that doesn't matter. So it's just, I don't know. Tabletops don't have a really great place, and people like, it's gonna boom, and it's like, it's already boomed. Tabletops have boomed as much as like not as much as they can, but Critical Role was the biggest part of why it was booming, right? But at the same time, weren't all these other ones booming? So it's not necessarily that 5e in general is boomed for everyone. 5e is boomed as a system. It's boomed for Wizards of the Coast. It's boomed for Twitter and followers on Twitter and people that's like making homebrew content. Sure, but it hasn't boomed overall. Or everyone that was really into 5e from the Critical Role boom has also either like kept making 5e content, but it doesn't really go anywhere because it's just so oversaturated on the DM's Guild. But at the same time, it's also, a lot of them have just moved on. A lot of them have turned into like indie developers. I can think of like 8 indie developers right now that started with 5e and moved into indie development because they were like they got like disillusioned by 5e. Yeah, there are a lot more players than DMs looking for advice. There's a lot more players. But also at the same time, look at this. Look at all this DM prepping. This is people that want to learn how to DM. Right? Right? So there's a market, but it doesn't have it can't make a foothold on Twitch because Twitch itself is it's goddamn sand. Twitch is sand. It's good and it could look pretty. It could turn to glass for a little bit, but at the end, sand is fragile. Sand breaks away and sand like slips out under you. You constantly have to like build sand on top of the sand in order to get ahead of the sand crumbling underneath you. That's what VODs are. VODs are sand. Sorry, I'm getting so worked up about this, but honestly, am I wrong? If I'm trying to make a sand castle out of like tabletop content and VODs and actual tabletop stories that people can follow, like entire campaigns, but the sand underneath keeps crumbling away, I have to keep building on top of it, and does it end up looking like the thing I want to start with? Like the things that were the basis, the foundation, all the in-jokes and everything else, where is it? Where does it go? What happened to it? It crumbled away. Because that's what Twitch is. You need YouTube support, but what YouTube support is, it's taking a photo of the sandcastle. It's taking those VODs, putting it into somewhere that they can actually stay. So the question is, why aren't you building it out of stronger material? Why aren't you building it out of, like, YouTube? Why aren't you streaming yourself onto YouTube? There can be chat engagement on YouTube. It's not as great as Twitch, God no. But one, the video stays there better. It's just... Okay, so yeah, that's why tabletops don't belong on Twitch. They just don't work. Critical Role, it doesn't apply to Critical Role. Critical Role is a fucking, like, it's like a giant shark. It's a giant shark. It's I don't think they'll necessarily be forgotten. It has too much of an impact. So, like, it's like how Gary Gygax never got forgotten. Like, he made Dungeons and Dragons. Blah. He made Dungeons and Dragons. But like 12 years after this, did anyone forget about him? Nah. Like, does anyone actually know and read his content? It's not great. It's like, it's fun and people got into it, but like, he had a whole table on just how to do racism. He had several tables that no one ever used, like naval combat. No one gave a shit about naval combat. Like, when he first made his stuff on, for 1E and 2E, he had like, I think, 8 pages, 8 tables of naval combat and, content and like, how to be racist to other, like, races. Like, there was a racism table. Like people remember him for what he was, not what he did. You know what I mean? Or like what he did, not what he was. So Critical Role's not gonna get forgotten, right? Critical Role's not gonna get forgotten because it's just done so much for the community. And even years from now, the VODs are never gonna go away, because not only are the VODs not, like, they don't need the VODs. Small streamers need to take those VODs, put them onto YouTube. But what Critical Role has, they have a community of people constantly making development and stories, and they have the books, and it's not gonna get forgotten. People aren't gonna remember the original streams, maybe, but they're gonna be on YouTube somewhere for like a good archivist to find. Like, if I wanted to create a Critical Role archive, it'd actually be difficult. So if I can find the VODs, have them on YouTube, someone will be able to find them. The books are what people are going to remember, definitely. And I'll be like, oh, did you know it was a tabletop stream? Man, maybe I can make a tabletop stream and like be super special and awesome too. But it's not necessarily going to happen. Okay, so when it comes to 5e and like tabletops, I'll say this again. I don't think tabletop streams belong on Twitch. I say this as a tabletop VTuber. I think they belong more on YouTube. They can't live on Twitch. My stream is going well. I get fierce with tabletops because I think about tabletops every day. It is literally my profession. It's like, yo, I get paid for this shit. And I get paid to write articles and to like do reviews and stuff. And so here I am giving you advice for free. Okay, so at the end of the day, like Twitch, the people that survive on Twitch with tabletops are able to survive regardless of this of the setting of the place, you know? You can try proving tabletops games belong on Twitch, but you know, tell me that after 60 days when the when your most recent VOD goes down, you know? You know? So go ahead and create a tabletop create tabletop stuff on Twitch. That's fine. Like, you know, like I support you. Do it. But then 60 days later, like, it'll go, poof, gone. And then you'll have to put it on YouTube. So without YouTube support, you can't survive as a tabletop streamer. You can archive it, sure. Like, yeah. Exactly, that's the problem. Seeing the VOD on YouTube, that means you can't do it alone on Twitch. It can't survive. Or even on your own page, it doesn't survive by itself. It doesn't belong on Twitch, especially if you can't engage with chat. But if you're engaging with chat, you're not engaging with your players. And I already, like, this is part of the problem. I already have to, oh my god, I turned Minecraft stream into talking about Dungeons and Dragons, of course. That's what happens when you're a tabletop streamer, right? So yeah. It doesn't have support. I've said this again. I'll say it again. You have to put it on YouTube. You'll be doing tabletops, but tell my players not to watch the stream. I am very stubborn. This is fine. It's okay. I'm right. It's okay. I'm used to this. I'm also very cocky. But there's a lot of things I'm randomly cocky about, but this is one of the things I'm like, I'm cocky enough to like, to assert that I think I'm right. It doesn't, exactly. It's not just tabletops. Twitch doesn't have support for any long-term narrative content, but like, you know, I can talk tabletops. I can't necessarily talk all non-narrative context. So I'm talking in the context in which I'm capable of talking about, you know? Yeah, yeah. He still wanted, yeah, but he still ended up adding all that shit, you know? And even if he didn't want to add all the shit, he still created a bunch of stuff to like appease to them. And he still like integrated it so deeply that Dungeons & Dragons is like half Tolkien now. It doesn't really matter what he wanted or what he cared about. It's what happened, you know? Yeah. What's gonna happen to your tabletop narrative streams, right? What's gonna happen, man? They go. Poof. Poof, 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 poof. I wish, no, like, I wish they could stay. I could wish they could honestly live on Twitch. So, okay. So, as a GM, here, let me come at this from a GM perspective. So, as a GM, depending on how many players you have, I have to focus on the engagement of the players. If I can't engage the players, then why are they playing underneath me? A table without players is just a guy talking to himself, you know what I mean? Right? So if I don't engage enough with my players, and if I keep distracting them with chat and they can't like progress in the game, so here's the thing. One, the players aren't getting enough time to themselves. If their brain constantly gets interrupted with the chat, then they're not going to be able to play. If they're not going to be able to play, the tabletop content actually goes down. And if they're not, and the tabletop goes down, then the viewers aren't there to engage with, which just leads to a steady slope downwards, right? So that's the thing. Like, if you start engaging with chat as a major tabletop streamer, it just goes downwards for everybody, for the players, for the GM, for the chat, and that sucks. You know what I mean? So here's the thing. Here's the thing. Tabletops can work on Twitch. Twitch does not support it well, but there is something I think you can do to make it more engaging. I think there is actually something you can do, and that's to create a tabletop with Twitch in mind. I'm not telling you I have something in mind for this, but I'm not telling you I don't have an idea for this. Like, if you make a tabletop explicitly for Twitch, explicitly with the idea of how to engage in chat before anything else, before the system, everything else. No, this is the system. This would be the engine you're working on. Before the players, if you think of a way to do it with Twitch first in mind, it can work. But no one else has that right now. Kind of. Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, kind of, exactly. You have to think Twitch first, and then system. The system and Twitch would have to be integrated with itself. That's why it just doesn't work when you have the system and Twitch separately, because then it just dies. Either the VOD or Twitch. This Arcade does pretty well with engagers. He doesn't do so well with engagers, but he does do that to just trying to exactly right. So then. But then that's not necessarily tabletop stream. Yeah, you're talking about just chatting stream, and you can like have other tabletop content, but you can't do not long form a narrative story. You know, if the story constantly gets interrupted by like engaging with the chat, then the story like suffers. But once again, right there, you have to put it on YouTube. Vallo, you're going back to the thing. Twitch can't survive on its own. Right there, it's. If you can't survive alone on Twitch, Twitch doesn't have a place for it. So it can survive on YouTube, and that's where I'm coming at, you know? Look, Val, if you want to argue about this, like I think you have to not use YouTube here. I don't want to like like limit you here, but also I can't think of a way for this argument to progress without like not using YouTube anymore. Like, I'm arguing on the basis of Twitch. Twitch itself cannot work. You have to go onto YouTube, and at the point, why aren't you just going onto YouTube? I'm talking about how it reflects with Twitch, and then you can't like... Exactly, everyone has to use both. You have to use both, but alone Twitch can't support it. Alone YouTube could support it. Not like as maybe as bet with engagement with shit, but also I don't think Twitch would necessarily need that much engagement. We're at this point, we're just going in circles, dude. Like this entire argument is that it cannot survive alone on Twitch, okay? That's the basis of my argument. Tabletops cannot by itself survive only on Twitch. Using YouTube as a crutch is not only using Twitch, because YouTube is able to actually do this stuff, right? That's where I'm coming from. This is my argument. You don't need to use just Twitch, but also it can't work with just Twitch. Therefore, Twitch does not have necessarily a place for it. You can do it, but also at the same time, I could just go on Facebook. I'll go on Facebook, stream Dungeons and Dragons content, then move to YouTube. What's the difference, really? Like, same level of chat engagement. Like, so... And the thing is, Facebook can have more of a place because you can actually save your videos there. Facebook has more of a place because you can save your shit there. Everyone is trying to shoot... I cannot believe I'm just making this a D&D stream. Do I feel like everyone's just shooting for being the next crit roll? How does it affect stream for the games? Everyone is just trying to be the next crit roll, and it's not going to work because crit roll was special on itself because it had star power before it even started being a tabletop. People didn't come for the tabletop, people came for the stars, and then they stayed for the tabletop. And the stars. So that's the thing. So, you know? Yeah, some people play for fun, but then a lot of them get discouraged. Like here, let me make a point. Some people do just play for fun, and that's perfectly great, and people can do that, and that's fine. But then a lot of them end up getting discouraged, and they're just like, why aren't we just like tabletop streaming by ourselves? You know what I mean? Why aren't we just streaming? Why are we streaming? Why can't we just like play without the pressure of like a camera on this? In my case, the VTuber just streams D&D because the session is every Saturday and she just needs more content. Yeah, that's fair. That's good. Yeah, that's fine. That sounds really great. Like, I fully support that. I fully support that. I'm disillusioned here because I want Twitch to be better for this. I want Twitch to be better. I want this to work. Anyone gain just some more of our Discord? Yeah. Okay, so I think I've been on this topic for too long. I'm gonna like pivot back onto Minecraft. Thank you so much for talking about this with me.